Hello, good morning, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. We have the amazing Mel on here today from Six Figure Chicks. And Mel, I know we've had previous conversations. I've been on your show. I want our listeners today to know a lot about you, learn about who you are, what you do, who you serve. I want you to start from the beginning. Mel, I'm going to have you take it from here.
All right. Thank you so much. And it's so good to talk with you again. For everyone out there, your audience, I want to kind of give you an insight into why I created Six Figure Chicks. Because I started off with my virtual assistant company, Clover C, about 6 years ago. And that was to serve entrepreneurs that really did not have the need for full-time support staff so that we could come in and fill the gaps in their business and to really allow them time freedom to concentrate on serving their clients and potential clients to grow their business. Because as you know, we don't need to be doing everything in our business, especially as it grows. But from there, my company grew into offering different services. And I was approached by my first publisher, Katrina Sawa, and she was like, gosh, the easiest, best way to write your first book is to have a book collaboration and invite other authors in. So you only have to write one chapter. And I was like, wow, okay. I hadn't thought about writing my own book before, but how amazing it would be to bring in like-minded individuals to collaborate on one specific topic. And then there was the challenge of trying to figure out what I wanted to write about. And she was like, you should write about virtual assistants because that was my company. And I said, gosh, I love what I do, but at that time, everyone was writing about how to become a virtual assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, everybody's doing it already. Doesn't mean I have to do it. So
Right.
I was like, no, thank you. But then I was like thinking back on my time in corporate world where so many women were working with each other and we really didn't come together and celebrate each other. And we didn't, come together and lift each other up and, make sure that we were doing good and that we collaborated and had great conversations about our work. It was more of like, let's see who can get to the top the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I found as an entrepreneur that it was a little better with, networking events and organizations that you come together, but it was still like the uncomfortableness of talking about your success.
Mm.
Like, and today, women, I find that it's challenging for us to be like, wow, yes, my business is so successful. I'm making XYZ. I am a six-figure earner. And women, I found in conversations just think, gosh, well, I don't want people to think that I'm, bragging about how much money I make, but it goes far beyond that six-figure amount. It's about saying, yes, I have worked really hard to get to where I'm at today. And I want to share that with others so that they can like take some tools or golden nuggets and really become as successful or more than me. Like that's what we're here for, I believe, is to share our knowledge so that other people can learn from our mistakes, our wins, and really understand that we're all in this together. And so Six Figure Chicks was born out of my just passion for empowering others to know that we can really own our success, share it with the world, share our stories that are not always perfect. And we don't always just, get up the next day and go, wow, okay, I'm going to create a business and it's going to be hugely successful. We have a tremendous amount of support behind us and lots of people in our corner. And
Mhm.
it's just grown into a movement, a book series highlighting tons of fantastic women all over the US.
Awesome. Awesome. That is phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And there's so much to dive into, right? So you've spoken to so many women that are six-figure earners,
Mhm.
and they are all doing different things, or they're in different spaces. When in speaking to them and you're talking about their journey, is there any kind of common thread that you're finding when speaking to them?
Mm, I love that. And yes, it starts with I don't have a story worth sharing. Like, I'm just little me. Like, who wants to hear about my story? Instead, when you start peeling back the onion and going, your story really does matter.
Mhm.
Um, that how impactful my story will be to one person compared to your story connecting with so many others, that the readers are meant to, these books are meant to provide the readers so many different stories and life journeys, and that, the authors, they think, gosh, okay, once they pass that leap of like, okay, I have a story, I can share it, then they're like, gosh, I don't know how to take my whole entire life into 5 to 7 pages. And so we're just getting or giving a micro dose of our life to people, but to really understand the power of words. Like, even if we may think our journey, our life has not been that exciting,
Mhm.
or that other people will enjoy it, it's so untrue, like completely opposite of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, Kesi, like, I did not know that about you. Like, my story is kind of like that. Or, I'm so happy to know that you used networking or speaking to public on stages as an avenue to grow your business, because I've been thinking about doing the same thing, but I'm too scared. So, since you did it, I can do it too.
Mhm. Funny. I was going to ask you that same question. Like, have you seen having the books as something that has propelled not just you, but also the writers in those books to say, "Hey, listen, this is where I am," and have it propel their businesses even further?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's an enormous community. We have 100 plus authors in the book series thus far, and it's growing. By next year, we'll have 150 plus and growing next year. But it's all about coming together and really understanding each other's strengths and or their businesses, of how they can support each other, work with
Mhm.
each other. Just like the, the easiest way to think about it is like a large networking organization. You all come together. It's a lot of sharing your knowledge, but also coming together to help each other's businesses grow. So our women, our authors know that, yes, okay, I know, like, and trust you. So I can either do business with you, I can refer you to other clients or friends, family that I have, but then also through the writing process, the authors gain their confidence, even higher levels of confidence, going, oh my gosh, I really went through a lot in getting to where I'm at today. And so, outside of the other referral partners and the cheerleaders and marketers now in your corner, the people reading these chapters, these books, have a better insight into these authors. And they're like, okay, wow, I like her story. I know what she does now, and I want to get a hold of her. We have call to actions in every chapter of how the readers can really learn more and contact the authors directly. But
Nice.
then also, the book acts as a great conversation starter. So we
Hmm.
go through the process of writing, and then we go to the launch of the ebook and the paperback. So everyone in your online profile, like all your social media platforms, all your community members in your database, now have a different understanding of who you really are. So
Hmm.
that during the launch phase, we're promoting like crazy, all 18, 20 authors. And so you're reaching new audiences online, and all those people that may have known of you before have now read a more personal, vulnerable story about you and how you
Hmm.
be. And so they're like, wow, I never knew that about you.
Wow.
Let's talk. Or I always say, when we go into rooms full of people we don't know, I always have a book in hand and I carry it with me proudly. And I tell all the authors, do the same. Like when you're going into a room full of people that you don't know, this is like your little armor piece of like, let's have a conversation.
Hmm.
Because it's not like handing out your business card and that's going to end up in a pile.
Right, right,
Yeah, so it's just about opening up those new conversations to people you knew before or knew of, or those total strangers that want to know more about you because you have opened up to the world through your story in this book.
right. And on this channel, we definitely like to give our entrepreneurs new insights into ways to grow, develop, think about business and their business. Entrepreneurship is one of those things that's never the same every day. Every day you wake up and it's something different. So one of those things I was thinking about is in having this. You've gained a lot of insight into marketing strategies, right? In building your brand, this business. What are some tips that you could give our listeners about marketing that you think that they probably haven't thought of before or that you found is really working?
Yes. So I really believe the power of storytelling. And we hear that a lot with different digital marketing um, advertisements and people online on the social platforms. But there are so many different levels of being able to share your story, being authentic in your post and your online presence with your social platforms, and not being all about the cookie cutter perfect images or the stock images of like, gosh, I don't like taking photos, I don't like doing videos. That it's really all about the authenticity of how you show up on the daily, of like, you don't have to look perfect. I mean, I did my hair differently this morning and it just didn't work out for me, so I was like, let's just put it back. And but also just be looking at those avenues for you to go outside of just your daily posting on Facebook or Instagram. But look at maybe being a part of a book collaboration. There are so many people I talk to every day that just have not thought about book collaboration or even known about it.
Mhm.
Anthologies are amazing because you can just be a contributor of one chapter instead of writing a whole book. And how many times have people told you, oh my gosh, you should write a book someday? Like,
Mhm.
your story is so amazing.
Mhm.
Or you think about, gosh, okay, other lead generation tools, um, creating digital downloads, smaller ebooks. Like start small, but still think of other ways that you can be discovered. So
Right.
the books or articles, any type of writing, of sharing more about you as a person outside of
Mhm.
your business, but incongruent to your business is um, extremely valuable to your visibility and credibility. So
Right.
start small, do a digital download, and then
Mhm.
work your way up. Take little baby steps. But the power of writing is so empowering to your business growth and your personal growth.
Mhm. Mhm. It's such a conflicting thing for me, especially since our other business is definitely in the AI space.
Hmm.
So because I'm heavy in AI and heavy in digital cloning and all the things, I see where it's going, and I'm curious, right? We're talking about authenticity and we're talking about how is that going to play a role in this AI driven space moving forward if a lot of the content people can now create with for example, ChatGPT, right? That's definitely not the best platform. And I mean, I've spoken at length to people, but if people are using ChatGPT as their, you know, people are pushing so much content out now through these platforms.
Mhm.
How do you think that's going to impact connection? And how do you feel like what you're creating is going to stay relevant moving forward with all of this coming in?
Yes, great question too, because I get from, authors of like, gosh, I'm not a writer. How am I going to develop my story? And or they're like, okay, well, I'll just do it on Chat GPT. And I'm like, know, A, all know when your story is created directly from a platform like that. If you just copy and paste and you submit, like, we're going to know. Um, and I love it now because my editor, Chick in Charge, Kristen Hugans, a couple of books ago, she was like, okay, so I definitely know when people are using like a chat to create their chapters because the words are so repetitive because they're pulling from, I think that was probably 4 books published at that time. So Chad is pulling all of the online content from previously published chapters. So it's like pretty crazy, right? You think, okay, well, all of this is online. So, their perseverance was a big word that it was repeating on multiple chapters. So she's like, I know where they're getting this content from. But I instead turn that into a really informative part of the writing process. So when we first start with the 90 days writing authorship, I tell the authors, use your Chat GPT as a starting point.
Right.
Like,
Right.
build the bones of your story or your journey,
Right.
but then take it from there and go in through that and fill in and use that as starting points or inspiration
Right.
on what to write. But don't ever just copy and paste and submit that because we'll know and we're going to send it right back to you. So save yourself time. But it eases the stress in the writing because people automatically get
Overwhelmed. Yeah.
overwhelmed, hyper focused of like, oh my God, what am I going to write about? Is this going to be good enough? But
Mm-hmm.
then to just use what we have as tools to
Mm-hmm.
get started, but then really pull from your own life experiences and write from your heart. And that we'll go back to, that is what makes it readable. And that is what makes it, continue on. Like, I love books. I love reading. And however a person likes reading the book, whether it's an ebook, paperback, hardback, or Audible, like, that's there still. You can't replicate a person's voice times 100.
Mm-hmm.
And funny, I went onto Amazon a couple of weeks ago and I saw that there is a person on Amazon that has written a biography for me,
Oh,
about me. Yeah. I was like, wow, I haven't got a biography yet. And
wow.
so I went to their profile, and they have like copied without approval biographies from multiple authors. And they used the wrong headshot. They said I was a Black woman, um, and multiple other things. And it was just like 51
What?
pictures that they just copied from one of my books.
What? Wait. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is like super intrusive. And, they stole from me. I didn't get bent out of shape because I was kind of like, wow, okay, I'm a little famous. But still, like, people are doing this and they're just getting it off the internet.
Right. Right. Because here's the thing, right? Um, we've seen how to use chat, meaning, just, oh, you jump on chat GPT. This is how you get it done, or someone does a tutorial. But what they're not understanding is that they don't understand the thing, right? It's a tool. it's not always accurate. It needs to be checked. There's so many different nuances with it that I think that people genuinely don't understand. I had a really great podcast conversation with another guest, and we were speaking about the fact that, you know, sometimes online is very misleading,
Mhm.
because it gives you the story, but it doesn't give you the facts, and there's a difference, right? So even in talking to you about authors writing about, when you are telling your true authentic story, there is no software that can duplicate that story, that feeling, that emotion. So when you write it and you're speaking about it, there's a different kind of inflection in your voice, there's a different feeling, there's a different something that comes out on paper that is magical, that AI cannot touch. So even when people ask me, oh, hey, listen, I need you to do whatever cloning, yeah, there are things that we can clone, like hello, good afternoon, blah blah blah, a standard format.
Mhm.
But feeling and emotion is not there. There's nothing that can touch the human, that can beat the human touch. The human touch is the human touch. And I do believe that actual books are magical. There is something about the human feeling and the human touch. And that's why I'm so conflicted, right?
Yeah,
Because here it is
your
where,
business is built on AI.
no, but here's the thing, right? So I'm creating this tool, this platform to help people, right? Because again, and I know we've spoken about it not on this episode, guys. You have to listen to the previous episode, okay? So we've spoken on her channel, and I'm gonna obviously put out more stuff. But when you talk about technology to speed things up, there's a way to use it. There is a way to use it. And like before, we were speaking about what platforms we use, which is also helpful to you listeners too. There are platforms that can be used to speed the creation process up in order to send out emails, say, follow-up emails and stuff, which is how it's supposed to be used, right? But when a reader, say I love to read, I'm an avid reader, is reading a book, I want to hear the actual stories. I want to feel that emotion. I want to know that someone else went through what I went through when I was going through my thing, so I can actually connect, And I love that you're speaking to them about all the things, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's just such a powerful tool to connect with so many, but to really just empower everything that you've gone through.
mhm.
For instance, this latest book that's launching this Saturday is Six Figure Chicks Houston Volume 2. And for each book, I try to, not try, but I place in a new intro. And so this intro, I'm writing a lot about my younger years. And I read it to one of my masterminds last week, and I was just bawling,
Oh,
but it's just such a healing effect of being able to go, I've grown so much. I never would have imagined years ago me telling those parts of my past with
oh,
other people.
oh, I
And
love.
that instantly gave me that credibility, that you know piece of me with those women of going, wow, Mel, that took a lot. And I'm not doing it for the accolades, but I'm doing it to let other people know that it is okay for us to share those personal pieces of our life, because it just adds that extra connection of like, I want to know you.
Yeah, I applaud you on that. I am still going through my own personal journey of sharing stuff, and it's hard,
Yeah.
and I applaud you for doing that, because it takes so much out of you to share all of that. And I'm sure it's like multiple levels, right? It's
Yeah.
also healing.
Yeah, I mean, I look back on the first book of that I launched in 2022, and I talked about my business growth in the very beginning, because that's what was really important and powerful to me at that time.
Mm-hmm.
As I've read other women's stories along the way, I've written my own parts and shared my own parts of my past, that I have healed so much. And like every year, it's a little bit more. I share a little bit more, and I grow from that. Like every book I feel is a stepping stone for me and the authors, because I see that transformation in their face when they see their name on the pages of the book, going, oh my gosh, like I did not realize that I was as successful as I, apparently am, and I am to the outside world, because we all put on the strong front of, yeah, my business is great, I'm successful, I have everything together, right? But like you said, every day is a new day.
Oh, oh boy. Yep.
And it's so refreshing to like just understand that you're not the only one.
Yeah, yeah, hands down. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is uh, entrepreneurship is one of those things that unless you're in it, you don't know it.
Yeah.
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 And
Uh,
it can feel like a lonely world sometimes,
oh,
because,
absolutely.
without talking to yourself on the daily of like, this is me, myself, and I right here.
Self, we got to do it today. Pull it together.
Pull up your big girl pants. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You know, it's so funny. I was listening to another podcast the other day, and he he is a phenomenal entrepreneur too. He's helped other entrepreneurs grow in the marketing space, social media space, and he's talking about how hard it is for women, right? Because for women, you know how you can jump on a live or without putting yourself together. The expectation for us is that we always have to be put together. And there are times that you're working on all these different things that you just don't feel like putting yourself to, or you don't have the capacity or the time to do
Yeah.
it. So there's so many different things. It's not just running the business, it's also looking your best while doing it.
Yes. And I mean, I saw an article the other day that had the question, how much does it cost to really go to work? And
Oh,
so I thought about the same thing of like, how much does it cost to just really be in your business?
hmm
Of like, because it was talking about professionals going to work, buying the right clothes, buying, the right accessories, looking the part, right? Traveling, all that stuff. But the same thing is for entrepreneurs, like branded. Like my closet is half pink,
yep.
but I have to spend money to get
Yep.
those clothes, and you know, to be a walking, talking six-figure chick
Yeah.
lover. But it's really the fact of like looking at, okay, yes, I do. Like we invest a lot
hmm
into ourselves and our business.
hmm
And that's not really covered in the Start Your Business 101.
No, it should be covered in the Start Your Business 101 because that is like the 101, right?
Yeah.
101 is marketing. You need a marketing budget because people need to know your business to have to have mentorship. Like that is like unequivocally like three great partnerships groups. You need to be in a group of like-minded people because you'll only grow. And I'm gonna let you fill in some more that you found have been like the great ones for you.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely the networking. I
Mhm.
started my business networking growth side with BNI, which is
Oh yes, yes, yes.
yeah, all over the world. But it is a great networking organization to hold you accountable. You meet on the weekly, you have to show up, you have to speak to the crowd. Like, so that has taught me a lot over the years of being comfortable center stage, and
hmm
being ready to reply with information, answers, and be confident about yourself and your business. But then also tons of women organizations, different organizations that fit different areas of myself my personal life and business life. Um, and it's gone from there of like that has really helped my businesses grow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that I say for anyone interested in that, in like their business growth and they're just not sure, they're not out there, they're not talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it used to be when I was in corporate or back in the day, like 10 plus years ago, where you just go into a big room with a bunch of business cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like the first thing people tell you is don't do that. you know, but that's how it used to be when, we were in the business world of like, hey, here's my card, call me.
Yeah. 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 That used to work. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, they just toss it.
Yeah. And then, the coaches, like the mentors, like you said, I got my first coach who was partially, um, uh, kind of gave me the influence of creating the Six Figure Chicks, because she was like, how much do you want to make your first year? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, gosh, I don't know. And so I drew my six figures, and, she helped me reach that goal my first year. And so from there, I've had multiple different coaches that fit different times of my business life. And
Mm-hmm.
that it was either I wanted to concentrate on sales or I wanted to concentrate on community growth, and different areas. So, I fully believe like if you're starting a business, the first thing you should invest in is a mentor or coach. Ask questions always. Like you're not meant to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And mentorship from us, from my side, we take the authors, and we will be having a national annual mentorship day. So we'll bring in 150 plus of these authors that have been published thus far for the day in Phoenix, actually next year,
Oh, nice.
and welcome 100 to 200 young women ages 16 to 28. And that's the opportunity for us to give back, because who doesn't want to give back their knowledge, their expertise to others that really want that
Mm-hmm.
information? Because I think back, and I talk about it in the last book, of when I was 15, I was on my own. My dad didn't want me, and I was living by myself, going to school, and I had to make that decision. Do I quit school to make more money, or do I just keep going? And no one was there, or I thought no one was there to ask. I could have went to a counselor, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea, because you don't know what you don't know.
Correct.
So I signed myself out of high school, and I said I have to work more so I can get more money so I can pay my rent. And that's where I was at that time. I had to just survive. And I, from that, birthed my nonprofit, Her Right to Rise, to where I want to give as much as I can to impact those young women's lives so that they have all of the tools and then some to be as successful or more than us. And so that's what we'll be doing in the mentorship day, is sharing our knowledge, having keynote speakers, having panelists, giving golden nuggets of motivation, inspiration to those young women that may be before college, in college, after college, no college, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a cookie cutter life, but
To
you
have
do
a great life.
have people in your corner that want to have you succeed,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're here for.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And yeah, you're right. You don't have a cookie. You don't need to have a cookie cutter life in order to have a great life. It is such a great, great statement. It's so true. Everyone's journey is not the same, and it's okay. And it's only when you realize that it's okay can you actually step into your superpower.
Yes, exactly. And for these young women, I mean, I talk to them all the time and still see the same issues, the same roadblocks that I had when I was 15, but just in a different way.
Right.
It could be like they have a great career, but they're not happy and they just don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that somebody is there. to listen, to ask questions, just to be a sounding board is sometimes so impactful because we're so heavily influenced by Hollywood and social media
Mm-hmm.
that, even us, right? You can get yourself caught up in
Mm-hmm.
swiping through the stories and seeing, oh my gosh, she has it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
is she doing that I'm not doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Just natural.
Yeah. It's true. It is so true. I mean, I think that's like a daily struggle for most people is that, when everything is falling, you're like, and you're trying to juggle all these balls, you're like looking over, like, how are they doing that? Because right now it's a total wreck. But, you
Yes, yes. I mean, I still, when I have those challenging days of going, oh my God, there's so many things on my to-do list. How am
yeah,
I ever going to get them all done?
yeah,
Like, I just have to stop, take a breath, maybe flip through one of the books, read the challenges and roadblocks that other women have gone through so that I know I can do it and
yeah,
I'm not alone.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In this part of the show, I always like to ask, okay, so if you had to have a tool that you could go back in time with, what would that tool be? Right? To help you, that younger version of yourself. And what advice would you give yourself?
Mm. A tool, wow, that is thought provoking because I'm like, gosh, what tool would I want when I was that 15-year-old girl? I I do know that it's so funny that intro in my book was me talking to that 15-year-old girl in that car in a parking lot.
Mm,
And gosh, I'm getting a little teary eyed just thinking about it because it's just I can see it clear as day. I was sitting in my car in the parking lot at Red Lobster where I was working and going, gosh, I just don't know how I can pay rent. And and so I wrote about just not telling her what to do, but being there for her and providing just another person to listen to and to ask questions and to know, like, this is my big thing is like, you matter. Because at that age, at that time in my life, I didn't think that I mattered. Like, nobody wanted me. Like, there was just why it wasn't where I was thinking, I didn't want to be there anymore. Uh, but it was like, well, why care about my future? Because nobody else does.
mm,
So the tools I would say would be just I wish I had known that it would be okay to ask questions. Like if I could tell myself something, anything, we just ask. Like there are so many people out there that they just don't say anything, but they are so giving.
mhm,
Like if I called you tomorrow, you'd pick up the phone if you were available and you'd be like, Mel, what can I do for you?
mhm.
And we've only talked a couple of times,
Yeah,
but that's just the type of person you are, right? Same with me. Like we'll give until we can't give anymore, but
yeah,
we can't unless you ask for it.
yep, yep, yep. And I say it all the time, and I learned this from a friend. Closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't ask, you won't know if the person will actually help. And a lot of the times, we've all gone through so much in our paths that we want to give. Just ask.
Yeah.
If you need the help, just ask. Where advice is free. Advice is free, and I think a lot of us feel like all these people that we're seeing out there that are super successful are hard to reach when we don't even know that they're so willing to give back their time by just reaching out and saying, hey, I have a quick question. I saw that you did this. I'm stuck in this part of my life. Is there any advice you would give me to help me grow? I mean, this channel is actually built on that basis to just help people grow. You know, Ask. I love it. I love that you said that.
Yeah,
I
I
love
always,
it.
and it's even today, I find it a little challenging to ask for help because that is, how I raised myself of
Right.
like, just keep going forward. And, so it's still a learning curve of like,
Mhm.
okay, Mel, you need to open up, you need to ask for support, help, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But it's, one of those things that will probably be forever there, but just continue getting better of me feeling okay. Like, yeah, I'm not putting people out by asking a question or
Correct.
asking for help. Like, if they
Correct.
can't do it, they will
They'll
say
say,
no.
exactly, exactly. If they can't do it, they'll say, hey, maybe not at this time, or no, I can't do it. But guess what? There's so many people. There's so many people, and I think the people that have the best breadth of knowledge, that know the most about asking, are people that are in sales.
Mm,
Why? Because they know that, okay, you may get no's, but you're going to get some yeses too. And it's in listening to them, and they're like, oh no, I just asked someone else. I'm like, huh, uh-huh, okay. They're like, no, 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 it's okay, somebody's going to say no, but I'll just ask someone else. I'm like, uh-huh, okay. Way easier than I make it out to be and other people.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I keep asking until they say no, because the worst thing that they will do is say no.
Correct,
It's, yeah.
correct, correct. Mel, is there anything that you want to leave our audience with today?
Oh gosh, thank you so much for your time and thank you to your listeners. I would say, whatever it is, like if you're thinking about trying something new, taking a leap to really, extend your personal brand, your business, your vision, your passion, do it. And, or if you don't know how to get started, ask.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm here if anyone is ever interested in like just learning more about writing in a book, being a part of a book collaboration, but they just don't know where to start. Feel free to, connect with me. It's just simple answers, and I'm here to provide as much information and knowledge as possible. Because I think back on years ago, if I hadn't known about a book collaboration, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and I wouldn't have fantastic females in my lives thanks to the book.
Amazing, amazing. How can they find you, Mel? I mean, I'm going to put the descriptions in a link, but for everyone listening on audio,
Yes, most definitely. So it's Six Figure Chicks. And the great thing about being in books and authors is you're pretty well discoverable online. So you can put in my name, Mel C, Six Figure Chicks, and I'll be all kinds of links on Google, the first page. But yeah, Six Figure Chicks is the keywords to look up and find Mel C there.
awesome. Mel, amazing, amazing, amazing time with you always. Thank you so much for your time, your energy. Everyone, thanks for listening. Thank you for another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth.